Welcome to Real Estate Grad School. We coach experienced real estate agents to create and build the habits and systems that rapidly increase your income, build your team, and allow you a much greater peace of mind. I'm Rich Levin. I've been coaching experienced real estate agents for over 20 years to exceptional success. Come and learn.
You have to be honest with yourself about something. You've got to be honest with yourself about whether you really lose leads or follow up on your leads. The greatest loss of business for real estate agents is losing leads, good leads, sometimes referral leads, leads people give you. You call them once, don't call them back. You're just losing leads for all kinds of reasons. So we're going to focus on that today, take a little break away from the topic we were working on, which is all of those lead generation methods, and answer the question, when should I call them back, among other questions. So when should I call them back? Let's say you spoke with a listing lead on the phone and like, hooray, you're about to get a listing. And they want you to sell their home. They're really clear. For whatever reason, they want you to sell their home next June. Oh, darn. That adds a complication, doesn't it? Doesn't feel like a very good lead anymore to some people. I suggest that you want to have, I'd like to say, 100 of those. So when do you call them back? Most agents will lose that lead. Let's just be perfectly straight and honest about it. Most agents will lose that lead. When I was moving to Atlanta from Rochester, New York, back in whenever that was, 15 years ago, I called the top agent in the community where I planned to live, Toco Hills. There were 2 or 3 good agents, but one was clearly, everybody said he was the guy. He had a team. He stood out above the rest. Everybody knew it. He was pleasant. He was informative. He was just what I would expect him to be as a top agent. He took all of my contact information, but he never called me back. Now, I know people, and I know real estate agents. I know that that is normal. I know that that's normal. So if you operate that way, you're normal. But forgive me, to heck with normal. See, he wasn't hungry anymore. He sold real estate a long time. He has a team. He always would pass this kind of a lead on to his agents because it just doesn't seem that good. So either he didn't pass it on or the agent didn't follow up. He didn't know which. He said to me, because I got to know him. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. He's right in the community with him. He said, honestly, Rich, I probably tossed it out because I didn't want any of my agents to waste their time. We get lots of calls from people who are thinking about moving to Atlanta. The fact is, while I lived in Atlanta, I bought 4 properties. And when I moved out of Atlanta, I sold all of them. And when we moved to Israel a year ago, April, that was over $4 million in sales altogether, $120,000 in commissions. Seems like a mistake. So don't be normal, okay? Be exceptional. And it doesn't take much to be exceptional at this. You need to ask more questions. He never asked me, why are you planning to move to Atlanta? It seems like a very simple question. I definitely would have asked it. Why are you planning? See, whenever somebody says I'm thinking about moving, I always ask, really, where are you guys planning to go? Because I want to take a greater interest in what people are doing, what their plans are, than in my commission. He never asked that. He never asked, like, what do you do for work? Will you be transferring or job hunting, or if you got something lined up? You know, do you have a house to sell there? Do you have more than one house? He could easily have found out that had a pretty decent potential as a client. But just those 2 questions, why are you planning to move? And what do you do for work? He would have realized that I was serious and I was worth it, but he never asked. So first step, ask more questions. Simple, ask more questions. Now back to the original question. When should I call them back? The seller is planning to move in June, to sell in June. It's September 27th, like today. I mean, literally, today's September 27th. So let's say his reason for moving is to move to a warmer climate. And his reason to delay until June is because his last child is graduating high school. So that he and his spouse will be empty nesters. And they wanted to make this move all along. And I'd be asking questions about where they're planning to move to a warmer climate. And if he's been there and if they bought something, I'd be asking all kinds of questions, taking a sincere interest in his move. So ask more questions. And you can ask, how did you happen to call me? I've made sales in the area, so you may have seen my name. How did you happen to choose me? And ask, would you like me to begin sending you sales activity in the area? By next June, prices will likely be higher because things do change and real estate prices, particularly in this community, continue to rise. But you might like to see what's happening along the way. As things come on the market in your neighborhood, if you want, I can even take you to see them. If you like, house comes up for sale, let me know, and we can go see it together just to see how it compares and what's going on. Honestly, that's what I did when I was in your position and I was making a move out of town. I just want to be informed. So shall I send you that information and you can just do what you like with it? Ask more questions. Offer anything you can think of to offer. Remember, 2 ears and 1 mouth. You were made with 2 ears and 1 mouth so that you'd listen twice as much as you talk. It's easy to remember that. Remember it. You were made with 2 ears and 1 mouth so that you would listen twice as much as you talk. So when the lead's talking, don't talk. Don't interrupt. Let them finish. And not only let them finish, give them a brief moment of silence to let them say more. Often people are so used to being interrupted that when you actually let them finish what they're saying and give them a moment, just a moment, like a 1-2 count of silence, when you just give them a moment, but you've let them finish. Sometimes people talk and talk and talk and talk because they just seldom have a chance to finish. When you let them finish and give them that moment of silence, they often will tell you some in silence. See, listening is the #1 sales and communication skill, period. Listening. Asking sincere questions is #2. So here's the instruction. Here's what will make you very, very, very good as a communicator and as an agent. Ask and then listen. Give them a moment of silence. And ask and listen. And then sometimes you confirm and reinforce. Sure, Florida's great. Is that the only place you're looking? Have you been down there? Yep. I've got some friends who live in what's it called? The Villages. They love it there. Whereabouts are you looking in Florida? Ask and then listen. See, people aren't used to that. And when you do that, you're showing yourself to be a consummate professional. So back to the original question. When do you call them back? It's September 27th. Currently, they plan to sell in June. And I say currently because people's plans change. That's why I want to be in touch. When do you call them back? Now, this is largely dependent on the phone call you had with them. What was said at that phone call, how it was said. Let's say that it seemed like a good lead. It was a good phone call. Now, my move, Rich Levin, my personal move is to send a brief note and a small gift. Thank you very much for taking a moment to talk to me. Take Sally, your wife, out for a Starbucks, or take the kids out. Whatever it is, could be a small gift, could be $5, $10, $25, whatever it is you want to do, whatever you can afford. My move is because when I send the small gift, it increases the referrals. They want to send you business. And it solidifies the relationship with them. They owe you just a little. Then you put them on notification for the listings coming up in their neighborhood. So you call them fairly quickly in the next few days and let them know that you did that they will be getting these listings. And once again, if they'd like to see them, just give you a quick call. You never mind doing that. As a matter of fact, you may be going out to see them yourself. And if you're doing that, you may give them a call. But don't wait for you. Just let you know if they have any questions at all about interest rates or anything going on. And then you may wait a month, but not more than a month. You may call them sooner if there's a reason to, but not more than a month. So you call them in October, maybe wish them a happy Halloween or look forward to the holiday season. And over the next months, you can offer to give them your thoughts about any work they plan to do. You can help them prepare the house for sale in different ways. You can just show a sincere interest in what their plans are and be available to them. You don't always have to be offering something or pushing or asking. You certainly don't want to be asking, is your move still for June? Is your move still for June? No, not at all. Your plan's still looking at June. How's your daughter doing in school? Where's she going to be going to college? Because you were listening to what they said about what their plans are. See, then every month or so, you stay in touch. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. You say, isn't that too much? No, it's not how often, it's what you say. You'll hear me say this a lot. People often say, should I call them back? Is it too soon? It's never too soon. It doesn't depend on when you call them back. It depends on what you say. Now, what tool do you use to remind yourself to call them back? So if you're not already using a CRM, then don't start now. Because do something more simple. It's more important to follow up than it is to learn a new tool. The best tool is your smartphone. Be sure you've saved the people as a contact. And in the contact, you can put notes about them and their move. And use your calendar and make an all-day appointment or all-day task on the date you want to call them back. If you want to just keep a list, if you want to use an Excel spreadsheet, that's fine. Do something, keep it really simple. Just stop losing leads or lose fewer, please. One of our coaching clients, I changed his name, in 2021, Alan was coaching with me, he still is. On a coaching call, he told me how disappointed he was that someone he's spoken with a while ago listed with another agent. He explained that they really liked him. They told him they'd list with him. They were very cooperative. It was going to be his. So I asked him, I said, hey, Alan, listen, you got to be honest with me about this because we're going to fix this and it's going to mean a lot more income for you. How many leads like that really were yours for the taking do you think you lost in the last 12 months? He said, I don't want to think about it. I said, really? It's that bad? He said, dozens. I was in disbelief. I said, really? Dozens? I said, Alan, your average commission is over $10,000. You actually lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in income. He said, yeah, I don't really want to think about that. Again, what's the point of me working with him on generating more leads? We need to close this gap. So by the end of 2021, he had begun to keep track of his leads better. And for fun, when we coached, we kept track on the charts of sales he made on leads that he would likely have lost. And by the end of 2021, it came to $153,000 in additional income. He was already making around $200 a year. So you raised him about $200 over $350 just from capturing lost leads. And he said, Rich, I probably lost at least another $150,000 that I didn't follow up on because I'm still pretty sloppy about it. And by the way, in this market, 2023, Ellen has thanked me more than once for developing that skill because generating leads, good leads in this market is harder. He said that conscientiousness with follow-up is the reason he's continuing to exceed his goals even in this market. So please work on this. If you lose leads, stop losing leads. If you need to work on generating leads, we've been talking about that a lot. But I wanted to take this moment to really reinforce, because remember I say with every topic of every one of those categories of lead generation, I say follow up, follow up. This is what I mean by follow up. once you've got somebody, don't lose them. You can stop calling them if they turn out not to be a good lead, but closing that gap of lost leads can be tremendously profitable to you.
Just click on the link below. I'd look forward to speaking with you.